Hey everybody, it is me, Mama Nay. Why? Nobody's here, so that gives me a minute. Today we are talking about burnout. Yes, indeed. Hey, Tuffy. Ooh, this might be one that works for you today, ma'am. You deal with this subject quite often. Today we're talking about burnout. Burnout and burnout. Hey, you the first one here. So it's just me and you. How you feeling, my dear? How's your recovery? Since it's just us right now. I don't know if I like this angle. Hey, honeycomb, welcome. There we go. Yeah, I was looking. There we go. That's better. I was looking like, what the hell? Hey, y'all come on in here and talk about Sunday check-in. I got a whole spiel for y'all. It almost felt like a spiritual Tuesday subject. But I'm gonna keep it short and simple. Come on, you said. Come. You said. Hair. Yes. Guess who did it? Me. I did it. I have a loctician. I know that's right. You got about 2 more days to go, Tuffy. I've been counting them down with you. I have a loctician. Her name is Joy. And she does the damn thing with my hair. But Hurricane Ida messed up my appointment. So I was like, I got to do something with this hair. So I did this. And then I pinned it on up because one of my good girlfriends said, you know you could pin that up. So I tried a new thing. I pinned up the side. You can't tell me nothing with the side pinned up. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Naomi, I see you slid up on in here. Hey, mama. All right, let's get it in. You know, I've been tripping. That's because I don't know where my book, where my book is. I ain't been doing our prayers, and it's because I don't know where my book is. Y'all, I'm so sorry. I'm the worst. I am the worst. Oh, okay. All right. You know, I ain't never too far from a prayer. That's just me. And it's all different types of ways to pray. So let's see what we got. What do we have in my little notebook? While I'm waiting on people to come in, I'll look for one of my prayers. Oh, I love this one. Yes, that is tea. You know the tea. That is tea. I'm drinking tea. And this is a night blend, which I left at your house. And I know you don't really get down with tea bags like that. So give me my tea bag. But that's a good tea, Tuffy. So you need to drink that tea that I left at your house. It's called night blend or some shit like that. Anyway, okay. So in the Yoruba faith, we have the belief that you have the spirit of your head, which is called the Ori. It is spirit that is kind of like your own personal deity, your own personal God or spirit that is your energy. And it is the thing that lives within you. It's kind of like your aura or something like that. I don't know how to explain it, but it's yours. And it is the first and foremost thing that dictates what you experience within the world. It is like your own inner spirit, right? And so there's this prayer that I used to say. And I'm going to start saying it again. I'm glad I'm talking to y'all. I do understand that. It's tea bags. I don't trust it. Okay. So this is a short prayer. It's repetitive, but it makes me feel better. So this is what I say. It's inner spirit guide me. Inner spirit guide me. Inner spirit support me. Inner spirit support me. Inner spirit support my abundance. Inner spirit support my future children. Inner spirit support my relationships. Inner spirit protect my house. Inner spirit guide me. Inner spirit guide me. inner spirit, guide me. Protector of children, my inner character is thankful. Come on now. That's how you get in tune. So like that's a prayer that you can say when you're meditating and trying to focus in on your own. And that's going to come. Wow. Everything happens for a reason. So this is one of those prayers that you say when you need peace of mind, when you need clarity, when you're trying, like you find yourself in a situation where you're trying to fight off depression or sadness or confusion. This prayer gets you centered, right? I'll say it one more time for those of y'all coming in. Inner spirit, guide me. Inner spirit, guide me. Inner spirit, support me. Inner spirit, support me. Inner spirit, support my abundance. Inner spirit, support my future children. Inner spirit, support my relationships. Inner spirit, protect my house. Inner spirit, guide me. Inner spirit, guide me. Inner spirit, guide me. Protector of children, my inner character is thankful. Look, y'all, we are all children to somebody. So protector of children protects everybody, right? And when we talk about support my future children, that's for people who might be having kids later, but that's also for like, people like me who have like mentees and people who look up to you and people who like ask you for advice. That's in the same space as your future children. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't have to come out your vagina to be your future children. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I gotta get comfortable. Y'all gotta work with me while I get comfortable. My feet was hurting. I'm getting old. All right. So that's our prayer. Now, today I was like, what do I want or need to say today? Because I was like at a loss. And a couple of things came to me all at once. So I pulled a card on it. What do I need to talk about? And the Hangman came up. I said, okay, the Hangman. Okay, that's when you're feeling like overwhelmed and you need to yes, ma'am. I am your mama. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, I hollered all loud. She made me happy. That's my baby. Hey, bookaboo. I got some grown kids. They grown. Anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked. Anyway, so the Hangman is about, when you feel overwhelmed with life. Sorry. That thing right there was just sticking out at the people. That's rude. Anyway, when you're overwhelmed with life, when you feel like things are at a standstill and you kind of get confused, so you withdraw. That's the energy of the Hangman. It's about getting in touch with your inner spirit, which is why I said that prayer that I just said was perfect. Like this is the inner spirit conversation when the Hangman comes up. So then I was talking to one of my kids and she was talking about burnout and feeling burnout. And I was like, man. And so the things that she was saying about feeling burnt out, I'm like, dang, that's what I just read in the Hangman. So today we're going to talk about burnout. And sometimes I prepare myself for these things. I don't always shoot off the hip. You see, I did it. I don't shoot off the hip. I don't always do that. Sometimes I do a little prep. And the prep, I started with, just like, what is burnout? So I'm always teaching y'all based on my own experiences. So I used to do prayers and stuff, and I used to use my tarot cards to kind of understand where I was within a given situation. And in my meditation, certain words would come up. And I would think, oh, I know what that word means. And then I'll look it up in the dictionary, and it would mean something totally different. I'd be like, I didn't know that's what that meant. Would have messed up my whole message because I didn't know what the word meant. And it's not just that you don't know what the word means. There are different meanings to different words. And sometimes it's that other obscure meaning that spirit be trying to get your attention to. So I say that to say, I said, well, let me see what they say burnout is. And I didn't know that was like a psychology term. Like that's a syndrome, burnout. I had no idea. And it's generally connected to people at work. I didn't know that either. I didn't know that burnout was a specific term for people at work that has been kind of like placed upon us in all walks of life. We all feel burnout. And I feel like as I was doing my research that that's real, that what I'm about to describe to you as burnout, which usually occurs when people are overwhelmed at work, also applies to us in regular life. And we all feel these things that constitute burnout. And so we got to pay attention to that. You know, we some soldiers, and we've been told that we have to persevere, and we have to figure out a way to make it through. And what this is saying is that, you know, sometimes you get overwhelmed and it ain't no way to make it through until you slow down, right? So burnout is, and the third thing, and that's the other thing I was like, oh, shoot. So the third thing is Mercury Retrograde. Well, we're in the pre-Mercury Retrograde. It actually starts on the 27th. So you got burnout, you got the Hangman, and you got Mercury Retrograde all together. This lets us all know it's time to slow down. It's time to be still. It's time to be reflective. You can't make no big quick decisions during this time. It's really not the time for that. It's time for sitting down and sitting your tail down and being still. It's also time for reevaluation, right? We got to reevaluate and see what's working and what's not working. It's also, and I guess I'm just summarizing all the stuff. It's time for us to reach out and get help when we need it. Keep shining. I saw this cup somewhere and I said, oh, I need that. I need that cup. It is an inspirational cup. Anyway, so burnout. The first definition I saw was chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. And that was important to me. It's not that we have stress, it's that we're not managing the stress correctly. We're not getting it out. We're not facing it. We're not facing it. We're not dealing with it. Instead, what we're doing is stuffing it, right? We are saying that we're dealing with it, but really what we're doing is ignoring it. And so it's stacking up on top of each other. Now, I'm going to reach out and say, this is more than just at the workplace. This is mothers. This is fathers. This is daughter-in-laws, you know, wives and husbands. This is the stuff that we carry every day. Stress. You know, so we at home and, you know, you might get constant bombardment with money problems, or maybe your house is falling apart, or maybe you need to move and you don't know where to move, or your mother-in-law is always in your business, or your father-in-law is always, you know, like we have things that in life that give us burdens. Aunties. Sometimes it's the aunties. So prolonged emotional, physical, and mental stress is what causes burnout. Prolonged emotional, physical, and mental stress. So, you know, relationships, that's where our mental, emotional stress usually comes from. It is the problems that we have with our family members, the problems that we have with our coworkers, the problems we have with our parents, you know. And y'all know I do readings and stuff, and so much of what we talk about deals with these relationships with people that you can't get rid of. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, I can't stop talking to them. They my kids. Like, they live in the house with me. It's my husband. You know, like, so, but I joke, but that is very stressful to be in a situation, to be in a house, to be in a place where you can't get away from the thing that's causing you distress, right? So we have to figure out ways to deal with it. And first, we have to acknowledge when we're feeling overwhelmed, okay? We feel emotionally drained, and we feel like we are unable to keep up with all the demands of life. That is burnout, right? You didn't know it had a name for it. And some of y'all might be like me. So I'm like, well, what I'm going to talk to the people about? Let me read up on this burnout thing. I've heard people talk about that. Little did I know I was going to be pulling my own coattails. I'm like, wait a minute. I think I feel burned out. As I started reading what is burnout and what are the symptoms and all of this, I was like, damn, I've been feeling like that for a minute. So I wanted to share with y'all this stuff. Okay, let's get into it. So we got burnout, we got the Hangman, and we got Mercury Retrograde. So burnout is lets us know that things are out of balance. And this Mercury Retrograde, specifically, I think it's in Libra. I don't keep up with astrology and stuff. But hold on, pause. Minx Mink, I came right here and Spirit told you I needed a word today. Preach it out. Preach it. Welcome. So anyway, Mercury Retrograde. So in Mercury Retrograde, things slow down. That is what Mercury Retrograde does. And the slowdown looks like a disconnect. So you try to do something, it don't work. That's retrograde, right? And really what it's doing is it's giving us a moment to really sit down and reflect. So this time of burnout, this time of feeling overwhelmed, when you feel that, make a mental note that, wait, I need to do some reassessment because apparently the way that I'm doing things is not working. So I need to check that out. Now, this Mercury retrograde is really putting a spotlight on anything that is out of balance and that needs to be cleared, right? Or that needs to be worked on or rethought. You might need to be taking pieces out, or you might need to be adding things in to make it more effective. You're going to find balance or find the imbalances in all aspects of your lives. That's in your self-worth. You're going to have a light shined on your finances, or how you define success, on your relationships, on your emotional processes. So this Mercury retrograde is really going to bring your attention to things that are have not been working. And that is making you feel overwhelmed. That's where the burnout is coming. So this is really if you felt burnt out before this time, it's really going to feel extra heavy during this Mercury retrograde. But this is why we have Spiritual Tools Tuesday and Sunday check-in, because now you know what this looks like. So I'm going to tell you what it feels like. Oh yeah, what y'all drinking? Come on, you got to check in what you're drinking. I'm drinking tea. What y'all drinking? It's Sunday check-in. You got to have a drink. All right. So burnout, energy depletion, always feeling tired. Exhaustion. Exhaustion is I went to sleep and when I woke up, I was still tired. It's only 3:15 and I'm already sleepy. That's exhaustion. A mental distance. So you don't care anymore. I don't care what happens at work. I don't feel motivated to do anything. I don't really want to cook. I don't feel like cleaning up nothing. I have mental distance from all of this stuff. Cynicism, feeling like nothing you do is going to help. Nothing you do is going to work. You spiked your coffee. Yay! I'm a bad influence. I was like, yay! Spike your coffee, girl. Spike it. I had to sit there for a second and say, ooh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm looking at my hair. It's doing its own thing. All right. So I was standing there at the tea do I put some alcohol in it or not? So I decided not to this time. Anyway. Okay. So I'm just going to tell y'all so we can all be on the same page. My little bobby pins is moving. And so if you see my little sticky stick sticking out, that's just because my bobby pins is moving. All right. So cynicism, feeling like nothing you do works. Nobody cares what you're doing. Nobody cares about you. That's cynicism. Hey, margaritas. What kind of margarita? Just plain the lime, or you then spiced it up with some fruit? I need to know. Lower immune system. So when you have burnout, it affects your immune system. So this is another reason we have to be mindful when we feel this burnout coming up, because it makes us sick. Hold on. Little honey liquor always help tea. Hold on. I'm going to need you to DM me what is honey liquor, because I don't know, and I need that. Like I felt that in my spirit. I need that. Honey liqueur. You better believe that's going to be on the thing. Okay, now, headaches and muscle pains are symptoms of burnout. Change in appetite. So either you lose your appetite or you eating everything in sight. Your sleep patterns change. Either you can't sleep or you sleeping all the time. So burnout has physical symptoms that we need to be mindful of. Let's see. The emotional signs of burnout: self-doubt, having a sense of failure, loss of motivation, negative outlook on life. And then you can see it in your behavior. You start getting extra snippy. Everybody is getting on your nerves. You're taking it out on other people, yelling at folks and picking arguments and being mad at people. You're turning to drugs and alcohol, and sometimes sex. That's always another thing. You're skipping work. You're going in extra late. You're leaving extra early. If the stress is at home and you're feeling burnout, you're sitting in the car for multiple minutes before you walk in the house. You're sleeping as soon as you get in the house. You don't want to talk to nobody. You need everybody to leave you the hell alone. You mad at everybody. You don't have patience. You're not doing the things that you usually do. You're not cleaning up. You're not cooking. You're not talking on the phone. You don't want to hang out with your friends. Burnout. Okay, so let me know if this sounds familiar, or is it just me? Y'all go ahead and tell me. Oh, and while y'all telling me this, I gave y'all a whole bunch of things to do last week with your crystals. Did anybody do anything with them? Anybody worked with crystals this week? Because Sunday's check-in, let me know. Jack Daniel's honey is the most common these days. Oh, yes. I can't even front. I used to put that in my tea all the time, but now I'm on the spiced rum. That is what I put in my tea now. So, burnout is something, especially when I was reading this, one thing that came to my mind is this is something that I deal with quite often that I overlook. You think, oh, it's going to go away. This is just a phase. But really what it is a time for you to reevaluate what you're doing, because it's a sign that what you're doing isn't working. Either the way that you're dealing with the stuff in your life isn't working, or you have some things in your life that need to be looked at and maybe possibly removed. Okay? So what did I want to tell you? Oh, I want to tell you about the Hangman. I charged them under the moon and wore my clear quartz. Yay, you charged them under the moon. Nice. Yay. That's a good thing to do, charging your crystals under the moon. And then, wore your clear quartz, not your queer quartz. Yeah, that's about full right there. Anyway, okay, so the Hangman, which I think is connected to this energy, is a time of slowed action. It's a testing period. So a lot of times this sense of burnout is really testing to see your dedication and your ability to work through the challenges of the goals that you set for yourself, right? It's a time of enlightenment. So, people will tell you that Mercury Retrograde, with all of its challenges, is really a blessing, because it's a time of slowing down so that you can reevaluate what you're doing and get new ideas, right? So it's a time of enlightenment. It's a time to break with the past, right? So when we feel that burnout, it's a good time for us to look and see what are we holding on to that no longer works for us and that is dragging us down. So now we got to break some of them ties because I'm already overwhelmed. So if you are something that's not really working for me, it's time for you to go. It's time for readjustments. And it feels like a standstill, but really it's time to let go and let God. This is a time of faith building. So now that we know what burnout is, I got 5 minutes. Now that we know what burnout is, we know what it feels like, and we know what to look for in our behavior and in our emotions. How do you deal with it? So the internet said it's 5 things that you should do. And it makes sense. This is in alignment kind of with Mercury Retrograde and with the Hangman. Because like I said, the Hangman is a time of withdrawal and self-sacrifice where you're saying, hey, I really need to get in tune with my inner self, with my inner spirit. I need to get in touch with my angels and my spirit guides because I need guidance. So in that vein, the first thing that you should do is evaluate your situation. So look at all the things that are making stress in your life and look at what parts of them are actually stressful. And then use that time to either reframe how you're looking at the situation or to figure out how you can change the ways, the processes that you're doing within those situations. So for example, me, I'm looking at one of my situations at work and I'm like, dang, I'm overwhelmed. I need an assistant. So, that ain't nothing you can just pull out the air. So now I'm evaluating different ways of me getting assistance that may not be the regular way. So that's thinking outside of the box. That's reevaluating what resources I have. So that's what you kind of got to do. You might look at your relationships and say, this is stressful because we're always arguing. So then what you do is you look at what is causing the arguments. Is there something I can do that can reduce the number of arguments we're having? Is there something the other person can do that maybe we can talk about? Or is, maybe the situation is shining a light that this relationship isn't working? So burnout can be a challenging time because it really does force you to slow down and say what's working, what's not. But there's some other things that you can do that's after you evaluate your situation. You need to seek support. So this is when you say, do I have other people that I can talk to? Am I reaching out to my friends like I should or like I can? Or am I isolating myself? Because, when you feel overwhelmed, sometimes you just be like, I don't want to talk to anybody. When actually what you should be doing is reaching out to your friends, reaching out to your family. This will be a good time to reach out to counseling and things like that. Or, maybe you need an accountant or you need some people that help you with your finances, so that a financial coach or something like that, because this is the time when you need to delegate things that are difficult for you. So that you're not feeling so overwhelmed, feeling like you have to do everything yourself. This is the time to reach out to resources. So that's seek support. Also social contact. Sometimes what you need is a good night out with your girls and y'all drink a little alcohol and laugh a little bit to lift your spirits. Hey, Love Crystal 92. Sometimes you need that good talk on the phone to make you laugh so you can release some of that stress and burden that you're carrying. So we underestimate the importance of social contact. We underestimate the importance of being able to release some stress in your life, either by being with other people. Just sitting with people who love and care for you is a stress reliever. Okay, so that goes into finding ways to relax. So we take this for granted because we live in this society that says we constantly have to go. You wake up in the morning, you go to work, you come home, you got to cook, you got to clean up, you got to help with homework, you got to blah. And nowhere in there is a time for you to relax. And if you don't have a dedicated time to relax, then what you're doing is carrying the stress on top of stress on top of stress. So you got to figure out a way to find time to relax. So you need to actually set aside relaxation time. So it might be Sunday. I'm gonna, my morning is just for me. I'm gonna take a long bath. I'm going to do yoga. I'm going to practice my meditation and deep breathing. And from 8 to 10, that's my me time. You have to do something that you have to be intentional. One of the words here is mindfulness. You have to be mindful of making the time out for your relaxation. It's just as important to have relaxation time as it is to go to work. Because if you don't have that time, you're going to make that time by going to the hospital. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll get sick. Your body will shut down. And then you'll be relaxing in a nice hospital room. And nobody wants that. This is the one. Oh, wait. Hold on. Oh, peace and light. They said, don't forget to tell y'all to learn to reduce stress in the moment. So those are the little techniques that you use. The counting to 10, the taking a deep breath, the visualization of a relaxing place. Like sometimes in the moment when you feel the stress, you have to stop things and then go do that. So I like to use the bathroom break so that I can, breathe and release some of the stress, give myself a little pep talk, maybe like visualize sitting on my porch or something that relaxes me, and then go right back into it. When you feel, one thing that I have mastered is that when I'm in a difficult conversation that's causing me stress, I take a breath before I say something. So I do this all the time. People think I'm crazy, but it's okay because it helps me to communicate without choking people to death. So like, you'll have a conversation with me and I'll do this. And everybody be looking at me like, is she going to say something? And I'll be like, so I feel like, and then I go into the thing. But in that moment, I swear to God, it helps me to relieve the stress of this challenging conversation. And it keeps me from getting angry because I'm fiery. So sometimes a conversation will be making me mad. And instead of being like, first of all, what you not going to do? Instead of doing that, I do the silent thing. So what I'm hearing you say, like I'll do some stuff like that. And it really helps to relieve the stress on me. And it, like somebody just said, it lets me take a minute to think. And we have to master learning to manage the stress in the moment. Because if you're not able to do it in the moment, what you're doing is you stacking stress on top of stress. So whenever you can, take the moments out to count to 10, to breathe, to take a deep breath. Maybe sometimes at your lunch break, you just go outside and take a 10-minute walk. Because another thing they said that helps to relieve stress is exercise. So even if you ain't got to be out there hustling, whoa, I'm walking because this is exercise. You ain't got to do that. You could just do a leisurely 10-minute walk. What that is going to do, number one, is that's going to get you outside. Getting outside automatically relieves stress. Added bonus is if you can be around some trees and stuff, that automatically relieves stress. Even if you ain't trying to relieve stress, you ain't doing nothing but standing by the tree, that is relieving stress. So put that in your notebook. Take a little 10-minute walk on your lunch break and then use the rest of the time to eat. But what that's going to do is in your body, it's going to separate the work time and allow you time to relax so that when you go back in, it will actually feel like you had a break. The worst thing you can do is eat lunch at work. That's the worst thing you can do because you never actually leave the place. You need a break. So even if you had a lady that used to go to her car and eat, And I never understood it until I thought about it. And I was like, sometimes you need an actual, like, let me leave out of this space so I can be in another space. And that helps me to debrief so I can be ready for the second half of that day. All right. You need to look into classes like yoga. Now, yoga is not just like an exercise. Yoga is good because it stretches your muscles and it relieves the tension that you create during the day, right? That's one. Number two, it helps you to pass the energy, like the deep breathing of that you're doing through the technique. You are relieving the stress of the day. So yoga is a way to relieve stress. Active meditation, where you're breathing and inhaling and exhaling intentionally, where you're visualizing the stress leaving your body, literally, like you can see it in waves of energy leaving your body. That actually helps you to relieve stress. They say, dance, anything rhythmic helps you to relieve stress. So walking, running, dancing, those things are great. Riding bikes, swimming. Swimming is beautiful, but it's a lot of work, but it's still good exercise, and it helps to relieve stress. And so being mindful of limiting your contact with negative people who also bring stress in your life. Setting boundaries, that helps to relieve your stress. Things that add to stress, nicotine. So you might feel like smoking is going to help you to relax when really it stimulates you and it makes you feel more anxious. Who knew? Sugar and refined carbs increase anxiety. Now, real talk, when I got hit by the car, and I got anxiety and migraines and stuff, sugar was a trigger for my migraines. Sugar was a trigger for my anxiety attacks. Even now, if I eat a lot of sugar, I'll get hot flashes and I'll get anxiety attacks. So sugar, while it is your go-to thing when you are feeling stressed, it is the worst thing you need. Junk food, all that stuff that we run to when we are stressed is also increases our stress. How about that? Like, that is horrible. Like, the first thing you want is some pizza, some fried chicken, some french fries, some potato chips, and all of that stuff increases stress. So, you have to think differently. Instead of saying, I'm not going to eat those things, say instead, when I feel stressed, I'm going to increase the amount of fresh foods that I eat. So I'm going to increase the vegetables. I'm going to increase the fruits. I'm going to increase the salads. Like, I'm going to increase the vegetables. Now, I might eat the fried chicken. I might eat the pizza, whatever that thing is that you need. But also think, let me increase these fresh foods in my life too. They help you to process the stress. They give you the nutrients you need to balance those things out in your body, in your emotions. What we don't recognize is that our emotional well-being is tied to the nutrients that we get in our food. Nobody ever says that. So it matters if you're getting live food in your diet. It matters. It helps you to process your emotions. It helps you to think more clearly. It helps you to relieve the stress. So add the fruits and vegetables in your diet. All right. Did I touch everything? I think I did. Y'all got any questions? I hope this was helpful. Even if it wasn't helpful to y'all, it was helpful to me. Because I didn't even realize that I was burnt out. I'm like, I got about 80% of these symptoms. I need a break. Work is kicking my tail. So those of you who are feeling that, especially at work, we can't just always up and quit our jobs, but we can be more efficient. One of the changes that I made in my life, I found a person to do meal preps for me. Now I'm going to tell you why that was a big deal. One of my stresses was eating healthier, but not having the time to cook. And I've been fighting myself for a very long time with that. So I would buy all the foods and put them in the refrigerator. They'd be healthy foods, but they would spoil because I wouldn't have the time to cook all that stuff. So in one of these moments, I evaluated how can you eat healthy? And I said, well, if I can find an affordable meal prep person, that would take some of the stress off of me to make time in my busy schedule to cook a week's worth of food for myself. So I did that. I found somebody who for $70 a week will make 2 meals a day for the week for me. And I was like, well, then I don't have to buy groceries. Yay! Winning at life. And I get to just pick up the plate and put it in the bag and take it to work. This is a winning win for me. And the way that I felt relieved in myself, I was like, I should have did this a very long time ago, because that stress is now something I don't have to deal with. So, everybody can't have that as the answer, but there are some things that you can have it as the answer. And there are things that if you reach out to your friends and your family, you all together might be able to relieve some of the stress with each other. We have to learn to work together because we can't do everything by ourselves. We just can't. And so part of the stress is that we're not working together as teams, right? So see who you can reach out to see if they can relieve some of your stress. Maybe one of your friends will agree to babysit on a Friday or on a Wednesday, so that can be your night of relaxation. Like, you got to think outside the box, be innovative, get enlightened about how to relieve the stress in your life so that we can get rid of this burnout. All right. Thank you for coming. I will see y'all on Spiritual Tools Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central. All right. And now you don't need a drink, but you could bring a drink to Spiritual Tools Tuesday. All right. Peace, y'all.